this computer. Hi, everyone, and welcome to my birthday party. For those who don't know me, I am Christine Whitmarsh, also known as Christine Inc., also known as the Flying Ghostwriter. We'll get to that later on in the call here. And I am celebrating my birthday today here outside of my office just because I get a better signal here in the living room. So I have a makeshift office here by doing an Ask Me Anything webinar where I'm going to let all of you all of you live anyway, ask me any questions you have about books, particularly developing and writing books. That is my specialty area. For those, again, who don't know me, I help people develop and write books that make a difference in the world. And especially in the world we're living in now, I've been probably busier than I've been all year because people, I think, are realizing in the silence and the quiet, really, this is what it is, making a difference in people's lives. And as authors, we have the privilege and opportunity of doing that. So I think that's kind of the dots that I've connected here, is that people are realizing the importance of writing books that really, come from the heart, really have ideas and perspectives and paradigm shifts for some of my authors and messages that matter and make a difference in lives. So I'm honored to help people do that, to be of service and help people develop and write these amazing books that I was already doing before this. So now there's a whole new layer of amazingness that is happening to my author books now that is just super, super exciting. So that's who I am. You can get more information about me at Christine-Inc.com, and that's where you can find all the information about me, including I have a few of my members here today of Writers Club Live. We'll talk about that a little bit too, where I have a group author coaching program, and we get together like this on the screen. We had our virtual meeting. That's my cat, Troy. We have, virtual meetings, and we do virtual co-working, which is also what's going to happen after the Ask Me Anything session today. I'm going to let anybody that's here hang out and do some co-working. I know Jeannie and Diane really enjoy that. They got a lot of work done when we did a Writers Club Live virtual co-working session last week, and they just put themselves on mute, and the way they described it is they looked up and they saw the other person, head down working, and it really inspired and motivated them to put their head down and work, and they both got a lot of work done. So following this Ask Me Anything, that's exactly what we're going to do. I'll log off and, let you guys work and check in on you a few times. And apparently when I left the room last time, it just became a free-for-all, and everybody's animals started doing the co-working with them. And I don't know, it was like this huge party. And there, see, it's already happening again. Diane's already doing it. So so that's enough about me. So I'm going to unmute everybody and let you guys all ask me questions, preferably about books. But circus question, and then I'll do a circus trick after that. I'll do a circus trick after that. Remind us your dog's name again, Diane.
This is Louie. King Louie. He's 200 pounds.
Wow.
He would anybody in the house.
He's a Great Dane.
Yeah, he's a Great Dane.
Oh, those are great dogs.
Gracie's only 50.
Thunder comes in the middle. Thunder's taking a nap. I don't know if you can see him. He's 90 pounds.
We also have Chihuahuas. We have one Great Dane and Chihuahuas. Louis is actually my service mobility dog. I was in a wheelchair, and he's the one who helped me get out of the wheelchair. And I walk now with assistance, and sometimes, like if I'm on rough ground, he still helps me. But around the house and stuff, I don't need him anymore.
He's just a giant dog.
He's like a giant dog who's very helpful.
That's awesome. All right. Well, this is kind of interesting. And I was saying, so for those of you watching this recording after the fact, these ladies here actually know me pretty well, but this should be interesting. Is there anything that I've never answered for any of you about books?
Okay, I have a question.
Of course Jeannie does.
So what is your post-pandemic paradigm shift?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is something I did on the podcast yesterday. And also, those of you who don't know me, I have a daily podcast for authors called Your Daily Writing Habit. Jeannie, I think, is my most loyal listener. She has an actual separate notebook where she takes notes on the podcast every day, which
when it's out in my studio.
That is just mind-blowing to me. So yeah, it's about 5 to 7 minutes every day, Your Daily Writing Habit. If you go to yourdailywritinghabit.com, you can get all the information about the show and access it in all sorts of places. So the episode I did yesterday, it was kind of a switch at the last minute. I had a different episode planned for yesterday. And this is just one of those things where Wednesday night, I've been working with my authors, and like I kind of talked about at the top of the webinar today, I've been working with my authors on new books as well as existing books. And in the last couple weeks or so, we've all identified a whole new layer of impact for their books. Especially my clients in general have pretty big ideas about how to change the world, but we're just like, wow, what is life in the world? And whatever their subject matter is, what is it going to look like on the other side of this thing? And every single author, every book project, we've identified this whole new layer, and some of them are mind-boggling layers of thought, of ideas, of like, wow, this is what my idea was before, but now, wow, it also, the implications are this, that, and I wish I could be more specific, but then I'd be giving away, author confidentiality, but let me just say it's a whole new layer. So I named it, and I think I coined it when I was talking to one of my authors on the phone, a post-pandemic paradigm shift. So now I've started to say, for people that are writing books, people that are pondering books, ideas, things that you want to, your story and message that you want to bring out into the world. What is your post-pandemic paradigm shift? What is that special layer of, this is what my idea was anyway, but now in light of these world events, whoa, here's a whole other layer of it. So I did the episode yesterday. Again, you go to yourdailywritinghabit.com, listen to the episode from Thursday, March 26th, and you'll be able to listen to me, explain it. But that was the major question, is to look at your ideas, look at your story, look at your author brand, look at the message you're putting out to the world and say, how will this be impacted on the other side of this event? So, and with me, you guys all know I have to come up with phrases and acronyms and book blueprint, and I have to invent all these things. So of course I had to name it. So I named it a PPPS, post-pandemic paradigm shift, because me and my cutesy little names. So that's what it is. Does that give you guys any ideas about your post-pandemic paradigm shift for your existing messages?
I'm curious, has anybody paid any attention to fiction book sales during this time? Have they gone up? Is there a certain genre that seems to be really popular with people now? I'm just going completely in nonfiction because I've got such huge things going on with that in the tax world. But I'm just curious what people are finding with fiction right now.
That is interesting. And I don't know, they're usually delayed, a lot of, in terms of marketing stats. So we might actually not know this for a few months. I mean, we can, make educated guesses what people are saying. I would imagine just taking a barometer reading on where people's heads are at right now. I think it is the books that are making a difference, and the books that are about, just greater purposes in life. And I'm sure, quite a bit of sci-fi and dystopian things, and maybe things by Michael Crichton. I'm sure those are interesting too. It's really interesting. I see everybody's been watching the movie Contagion. So if the movies are any kind of parallel to fiction books, everybody's watching the movie Contagion, which at first I was like, I thought we'd want to escape from what we're dealing with, but, and I did the same thing. I watched it too. So it's just it made me feel better. I'm like, well, at least it's not that bad. So I think people are watching, it's a combination in terms of books people are reading and movies people are being drawn toward, of things that, are about greater purposes in life, because I think there is a huge component here of facing our own mortality and life and death, and, just coming together as, a human race on Earth. So there's those kind of, movies and books that address those things. But of course, I think there's a certain amount of dystopian fiction that probably is doing well. But again, until they tally up the stats, this is just me totally making guesses based on Facebook conversations.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. I'll probably be inspired to write a few things.
It depends. I think it depends on how fast you can come to market with it. Just for what it's worth, Containment is the one that scared me. I think it's on Netflix. It was a 1-season series, and it was a pandemic where they locked down a portion of the city. And then what happens when you lock down a portion of the city? What happens to people inside it? And it's like, wow.
See, those, I don't know if those things are going to really work in America, where there's the Constitution and a lot of guns. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. But and it's interesting because maybe it's people want to know, well, what's the worst it could be, and then I'll go prepare for that. And maybe that's why we're seeing what's going on with Contagion.
That's why, Contagion was, a story of hope and awesomeness for me, because they had a 25% mortality rate in that movie. So I was like, hey, we're only at 2%.
Wow.
This is like the Disney version of Contagion.
Right. Yeah. And this is how you can survive it. So yeah, but I'm with you. I really thought that I would see people wanting escapism, and it doesn't seem to be as much as it's just an interesting
I
thing
think
going
people
on.
want, like, yeah, they want meaning, they want authenticity, they want depth. And this is, I'm going to be expanding on that episode, by the way, Jeannie. I'm going to do a blog post on it because I have a lot more to say on this PPPS. And a lot of it, I'll just give you guys, you know, kind of a sneak preview of the next level of my message on that is, you all know, all these years, I have been totally standing on a mountain of write a quality book. Don't just knock out a book just as a, you know, a business card to wear. Write something that really is significantly going to help people, not the, you know, something in a weekend or whatever. And Diane, you're an interesting one because you write things really fast that have a lot of meaning and impact. You're just like the intersection of both worlds. But there, you know what I mean? Like the people that are just writing a book for the sake of writing a book, but it's just, not doing it to move the needle or to even, you know, help people. A lot of it is just a lot of marketing. So now that I'm seeing everybody searching for meaning and authenticity and, you know, something that, you know, just, again, I keep using the word meaning because it keeps coming to me over and over again, things that mean more, things that, you know, can really, it's like we're in like this silence now and people are having time to think because we don't have the normal hustle, bustle and noise of daily life. And when you have time to think, I think you start thinking of these bigger issues. So a lot of my client books, could revisit them because they're all books that, you know, fall under that category. So I'll be writing about that next, where, you know, I think quality and meaning and depth are really going to rise to the top. That's my personal prediction for my PPPS, is that quality and depth and meaning and purpose are going to rise above things, or especially rise above the noise. And a lot of people are like comparing this to 9/11, saying, well, yeah, everybody liked each other for like a month after 9/11. And I was talking to my husband about this last night, where it's like, here's a huge difference between 9/11. 9/11 it just emotionally impacted everybody in the country, but it didn't uproot the lives of everybody in the country.
Yeah.
Huge difference there. So when people are like, oh, everybody was nice to each other for a month and then they went back to being, you know what, so whatever, it's just like, this is a massive shift that's happening right now, where everybody's job, everybody's life, just the way that you operate, the way, I mean, everything is being shifted now. So I'm predicting I just have this strong sense that the noise is going to stay lowered for a lot longer. And people are going to be looking for bigger things and things that, you know, and nothing gets like the social media influences, but maybe, you know, watch it, you know, getting 1 million hits for putting your makeup on YouTube is not going to be such a big deal anymore. And it's just, I think there's going to be different priorities, is my prediction.
Well, to Diane's question too, I'd be very interested to see when those stats come out on the books. I'd really be interested to see the demographics as well, because, you know, right now, the first few weeks, it was like an extended spring break. You know, a lot of kids were out of school. And then, especially here in Jacksonville, kids went online to school this last week. And, you know, that's a whole learning curve. And I know lots of parents who are just like, oh my gosh, we've got, you know, this is a whole new project, a whole new deal, whole new routines. And I think that all plays into if they're even reading, you know, because they've got so many other things going on. With
It's interesting. One of the things that I remember hearing, because I've always been kind of into the post-apocalyptic, not so much dystopian, but post-apocalyptic fiction. And the things that the groups will tell you to prepare for that, they always tell you to take things because there'll be times when you're bored. And what you just said, Jeannie, is I don't see that as much, that people are bored. It seems like they're just so busy right now. And maybe it's because they don't have the routine yet, but they're not used to cooking at home. They're not used to there's a lot of things. They're doing their own hair and they're doing their own housekeeping and things they weren't used to maybe doing this before. So I love your hair. Yeah.
Hair and makeup.
It's birthday hair.
Yeah.
It's birthday hair.
Well, it has to look good upside down for a minute. I always tell my haircut for that. The haircut has to look upside down. Unique requirement. And it usually does. Like if you see my circus pictures, it's a great haircut. It looks really good upside down. Surprised I don't have more circus people here. But yeah, so that's my prediction. I'd like to have, yeah, so what do you guys think of my, you know, I could be way off, but it's just a strong gut instinct that there's going to be more silence and there's going to be more people like kind of looking at their life priorities and, you know, revisiting, you know, purpose and things like that in a way that I don't know that's ever.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I think especially the life purpose, you know, everybody's gone home. I was thinking that I believe there's people who are now working from home. Some of them are hating it. But I think a lot of people are like, wait a minute, I don't have the commute. I'm here more time for my family, more time for what I want. I think there's going to be a protest of, I want to telecommute. And what does that look like then for how we live, you know, and how do we divide up our work and home so that there really are distinctions there? Because that's a challenge. I mean, I've worked from home for years and years now, and that's a challenge. You're either always working or you're never working. You know?
We're habits.
Yeah,
Habits and habits.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I hope you're right, Diane, because I think a lot of companies too will look at their electric bills and stuff and say, do we really in the office?
Well, and what about office space and, you know, all the costs involved in that? You know,
look at their overhead from this month, and they're going to say that, can we do this like all the time?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there was a study that I've forgotten now which country had it, where they made people stay off of social media and just focus on their job, and they gave them 5-hour days, and in 5 hours they got more done than they did 8 hours at the office. But it was a matter of containing what they're doing, not running to go talk to everybody all the time. It's like, boy, if we just had to work from home for 5 hours instead of commuting in, you know, 2 hours a day maybe, and an 8-hour day.
Yeah, and then you get paid by the task. Suddenly, you suddenly more efficient. A lot of employees are, you know, in their cubicles getting paid to be on Facebook. But Chris, you were just about to say something. I'll let you chime in.
Yes, I think with everything going remotely, and then people get used to it, that more, people are going to want to, work from home. There's going to be I'm having a lot of remote meetings that are going really well. Yep. And so less live events and more going online. Yeah.
I love it. Everybody's like in my world now.
Yeah.
I think everybody's, oops, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. Because you can, it's so neat to be able to talk to anyone in the world. I was looking for more writers to narrate for my female leadership podcast through a different lens. And I ended up speaking this week to a CEO of a nonprofit in Switzerland.
Wow.
And so I may start to go to an interview format, which I haven't done for that podcast, but it was so interesting to see what was happening in Europe and what's happening to her nonprofit, because she helps kids, and they actually just signed a new contract. They're going great guns because they're in a spot where, more kids need help. They need digital help. So they're doing wonderfully, and their nonprofit is 100% remote. They work from all over the world. So I think we'll see even more companies. I've seen a lot of companies going that way, but I think we'll see more now that the whole team is remote.
Could be like a massive shift in efficiency of like mental efficiency, people realizing the stuff they don't do, and their habits efficiency and work efficiency. I just feel like it's like a giant, the sense that I keep getting, I think I have like an empath gene or something, that there's like it's going to be like a cleanse of the unnecessary, a cleanse of inefficient habits, a cleanse of like, of doing things the old way because we've always done it that way. I just feel like cleanse is another thing. Cleanse and meaning are two words that have been like, keep coming to me over and over lately.
I think too, people are going to be healthier because I see kids walking by in the afternoon, and riding their bikes, and parents taking their kids for walks. Yeah, I think, and also too, when you're working at home, if you feel like getting up and going for a walk, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You can tell we're on different areas because you'd get arrested for that here.
Oh, yes, you would.
California's on lockdown.
Yes, we at least go outside.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, my goodness. Well, how do you do that with dogs?
Here in
okay. So you can take your dog out, but there's limits, and you have to really stay away. I mean, what happened was, I think it was 2 weekends ago, where it just went crazy and everybody went to the parks and the beach, and then all of a sudden we've got these huge upticks in all these cases in Southern California.
Florida.
And so, and so they've Florida's had that, but you guys haven't reacted as.
They all went to the beach last week. They all went on vacation. I was just like, we're on spring break. No, that's not the point.
Right.
I think it was,
Yeah,
tourists from New York and New Jersey, honestly, those were the ones on the beach. I don't know there's many Floridians.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so but I know just it's just a side comment, but I do agree. I think that there is a general healthier, just to focus more on family and home, and family, whatever you divide, interpret that to be. I mean, it can be your animals, it can be friends and all, but just the fact that you're not having to go off and spend all this time in traffic, certainly helping air pollution.
Yeah, I mean, the effects, we're already seeing it, like all the videos. I mean, even like the canals in Italy cleared up, and the smog over LA disappeared. And I mean, it's just so many. I mean, cleanse and meaning. Those are my 2 words for this pandemic. This pandemic, sponsored by Cleanse and Meaning.
Zoom. By Zoom.
Yeah, by Zoom.
That's been going up. Who else wants to go back in time 2 months ago and invest in the Zoom IPO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what people, I see these questions saying, what do you wish you could go, back into? I'm just like, Zoom IPO.
Right.
I know that's not a lot of meaning right there. But, so any other, ask me anything. I just got to turn the air conditioner off. So hold on. Oh, goodness. I think I overdid it. Okay, here we go. All right. It's just us. I'm always ready to exercise at any given moment. Because I do. Well, we're about to start my circus school and my yoga studio both are starting virtual classes starting on Sunday. So I'm about to do, there's virtual circuits. I don't have a lyra here, but ground conditioning classes. And if you want to exercise like an aerialist, because our teachers, this is not just the average like personal trainer on Zoom saying do some crunches and, plank and, some squats. Circus people exercise differently, and we're going to start doing it virtually next week. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, that works really well. Since the gym is closed, I asked our personal trainer to design us, home workouts, and they're wonderful. It's great.
I walked by one today. I was walking Gracie this morning, and at the apartment complex, and we have all those like detached garages, and I heard like this woman like saying, "Good job, you guys!" and what am I listening to? And she's in her garage. Stage lighting and the whole thing, and she's doing a personal training for like a whole class of people on Zoom, but she had her whole only 5 more. You'd be doing that starting. We're doing aerial yoga. I'll do that for you guys in a minute. We're doing virtual aerial yoga. Everybody who has slings starting Sunday. I'm excited about that.
Wow, nice.
It's nice to see the innovation on what do you do with what you've got now.
That's another thing that's going to happen is people are going to be able to do. I think there's going to be a lot of breaking away from we've always done it this way. Because that's the whole thinking, and how people are finding. It's kind of like the movie Jurassic Park, where he talks about chaos theory with the the water down his thumb, and like life finds a way. What I'm finding thing is entrepreneurialism finds a way. I just keep that scene over and over again. Like life finds a way. People are finding a way to stay in business. I mean, with the exception of like bars and restaurants and the brick and mortar, they're going to have to. I don't know how they're going to pivot, but a lot of other entrepreneurialism is it's finding a way to survive.
Right.
I think the restaurants and bars and all that, they'll be fine. They're going through a really, really rough time now, but they'll come back because everybody loves them. Yeah, maybe fewer. Yeah.
Yeah, I see them closing already. So
Yeah, I heard one today too.
Thank you for the birthday.
What is the plan for today? We're doing the Ask Me Anything, and then we're doing writing. Or
if you guys want, I'll do a circus trick if you want. But you have to
it's your birthday.
I'll do a circus trick. And then I will leave you guys to do virtual co-working. And Chris, I don't know if you want to stick around. I know these two do, because these are like my virtual co-workers. They're very productive when they do it. They mute themselves and they keep their cameras on, and they just work. And apparently looking up at the screen and seeing each other work like motivates them to work more.
Right.
So
interesting.
It does. It does work.
It really does work. You
and then you came in like about every 45 minutes or something last time, Christine.
Yeah, I'll pop in every once in a while. So once we're done here, I'll pop in like a half hour later and make sure I'll have isn't broken loose because it's you guys.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Oh, I do have-
Circus. Oh, sorry, Chris.
yeah.
I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
this is not going to.
I do have to get my dogs out. So
Yeah, this is not going to stay on upside down, and I'm going to have to take my jacket off too. So,
Well, so Chris, that other thing about this co-working is if you have to get up and do something, you can. You don't have to tell anybody. I got up and had
oh,
a
okay.
sandwich. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't tell. I think I told Diane. I'll be right back. I'm just.
Yeah,
going
you sent
to,
me a chat or something on that.
Yeah, I have
and
to have
said
lunch,
could-
and then look
just
at
like at work.
Christine's like, yeah.
this is
Okay.
Okay, here we go with the old circus trick.
Yeah.
area. Yeah, this is what we were doing in the circus video call. All right. So there we go. I'm going to make sure that, let's see. If I'm doing it here, are you going to be able to see it? Let's see, what am I doing?
Yeah. Now, where are you?
That's my dining room.
I think she's in the living room or the dining room.
Oh, you
This is our dining room. I'm not even kidding. Like, this is our dining room. Like, I have the best husband in the world that he thinks this is like the coolest thing, because like you'll see the leg of the rig is in front of our front door. I mean, like he walks in after I got it set up. He walks in and he said, and I just was like, oh God, what is he gonna think? He walks in, he says, cool, this adds to our overall weirdness. Yes, it does. All right, still recording, right? This is
Yeah,
called,
we see you.
this is called Circus Seat to Pixie Drop. That's the name of this trick. Now I'm up here. And a lot of
That's
people
fast.
find this uncomfortable. I don't know why. I think it's awesome. All right, and here we go. And there we go.
Ta-da. That's pretty cool.
Was that the pixie drop that you just did?
The pixie drop at the end.
Yeah, cool.
That is very cool.
You know, if my granddaughter saw that, she'd want to start doing it. She's 8.
Let's see. I'm gonna do it.
That's
Sorry.
awesome, Christine.
I'll do a bonus one.
Very good.
We'll do a bonus one.
Bonus.
This one takes a minute to get into.
And what's this one called?
Pike to shoulder stand. You guys have seen pictures of this one. Okay. Trick is you gotta have enough fabric around your legs.
Oh, that doesn't look too easy to do.
Oh.
That's impressive.
There we go.
So, were you taking your weight on your shoulders or were you hanging from your feet?
That was my shoulders.
Okay.
So that's.
And then you had to get the fabric around your feet to kind of keep you in
Of course,
balance.
Diane
is
wants
that
to know
right?
how to. Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna.
exactly, of course.
You'll have to take an aerial yoga class, Diane. Oh my goodness.
Very nice.
Susie's impressed. Oh my God. All right.
We're also getting a tour of your house.
Yeah, kind of the rush tour. Here we go. Ta-da! So that's where I exercise.
Awesome.
Yeah, it makes exercise more fun. You can use that thing for all kinds of conditioning because you just wrap your hands, you can do pull-ups, all sorts of things.
Oh, wow.
So what are you doing for your birthday?
You're looking at it.
Yeah, same day, same thing. Birthday in a pandemic.
Probably gonna. I mean, what do I do anyway? We're not social. We don't like go out people. We're the exact opposite.
Uh-huh.
So probably DoorDash.
I love DoorDash.
Yeah, works for me. So there we go. I'm gonna let you guys
So the
have.
final question. The final writer's question is, how old are you? Just kidding. You don't have to say.
I put it I always, hold on, I actually don't know. I got to pull up the calculator. In my head, I'm like 30. I don't know. I'm actually
That's a great way.
literally subtracting my birth date from 2020 because I don't know. 47. Yay.
Oh, yay. You look awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what any of my family members are. Age is like the least important metric in my life, honestly. I measure everything by circus tricks.
Get to a certain age and everybody's younger than you are. Trust me.
Pretty sure they are. I probably thought my mom was incredibly old when she was 47. And she's like 82.
I love her.
I'm going to go back to doing things. What I would eat. But yeah.
All right.
Let me sign off. Let me just sign off on the recording officially, then we'll chat about co-working. So thank you to everybody who stuck with us for this recording and impromptu circus performance. And thanks for celebrating my birthday with me, even if you guys are doing it belatedly by watching this video. And again, please visit me on my website, Christine-Ink.com. You can get information about Writers Club Live, great monthly group of folks who get, coaching and camaraderie and all sorts of things. But you'll find all sorts of things on my website, including information about my daily podcast, Christine-Ink.com. Thank you, everybody.